Ambassador Dato Dr. G.K. Ananda Kumaraseri is a career ambassador of over 30 years standing. He retired in 1995 as Director General ASEAN. Since then, he has authored several notable books on such important subjects such as the cultivation of human values, personal development, holistic education, the sacredness of motherhood, mother care, holistic parenting, child care and development, and peace. He is a much sought-after Dharma speaker in Malaysia and overseas. His recent treatise on holistic motherhood and parenting is widely used as a practical yet effective training manual for courses on social ills and crimes, such as drug abuse, AIDS, child abuse, and gender inequality. He is the president of the Human Development and Peace Foundation. Dato G.K. Ananda Kumaraseri has carved a niche for himself in espousing the concept of living by Buddhism by emphasizing the practice and practical application of the Buddha's teachings in daily life. He is available for public talks and discussions. His email is akumaraseri@yahoo.com. You may also refer to www.livingbybuddhism.com for an insight into his works and activities.
Focusing on filial piety, the importance, significance of filial piety in terms of the way of life in the Buddhist culture, in the Buddhist tradition. Now, filial piety is something which unfortunately is dying in modern life. For a Chinese, for example, filial piety means that it is in the blood. If you are a Chinese, filial piety is in your blood. But unfortunately, because of the modern influences and the various kinds of pressures on the family, of the nucleus family, the filial piety element in Chinese culture, in Chinese families, is being eroded so fast, and many places it has disappeared. For example, in Singapore, they even have to pass a legislation to make it compulsory for a child to look after parents. This is a shame. If you are Chinese, you should automatically do it. But it's become so ridiculous, so impossible that the government must pass legislation. It's a disgrace, it's an insult. So we don't want this to happen to our communities. We must preserve this culture because there is a lot of meaning. There's a lot of Dhamma in what filial piety means in terms of actual practice in daily life. In terms of the erosion, as far as I can see, when I was a child, we also had this practice as a Sinhalese every first weekend of April. We go to the cemetery, we clean the cemetery, and we have our prayers, we transfer merits. And this happened to be in Lokyu Road, very near the Chinese cemetery. But later on, when I grew up, when I was small, whenever we went for this ceremony, which coincided with Cheng Beng, which is currently happening now this weekend, there used to be traffic police because the whole place was jammed packed with cars and it was completely chaotic. Today we have more cars and more people, but there is no traffic jam. Here already in Malaysia, in our own society, the erosion has taken place. They are not practicing filial piety. They are not practicing Cheng Beng even. Once a year to go and do a clean-up and transfer of merit, clean-up of the cemetery and transfer of merit in the Lokyu or in other places. So we need, I'm happy that in Tiang Sang we are continuing this tradition and we are encouraging the families to come and practice filial piety. But this is something we need to address not when the person is grown up. We need to address it from small. But before we do that, we need to first of all understand the significance of filial piety. What is the meaning of filial piety? Many people even don't understand the meaning of filial piety. So I tend to introduce filial piety as the joy, the blessings, the blissfulness of taking care of your aged parents. It's not just a term, but it is a feeling of joy. Now, in Buddhism, for example, Ayan, what do you think is the first lesson the Buddha taught? What is the first lesson the Buddha taught? Dukkha. What is the first lesson the Buddha taught? Be grateful. Be grateful was the first lesson. Many times when I ask this question, they say the first lesson is the Four Noble Truths. That is the first sermon. It is not the first lesson. The first lesson the Buddha taught was to be grateful. As soon as he gained enlightenment, what did he do? He stood up, he looked at the bo tree, stood in silence, and paid reverence to a bo tree, the tree of enlightenment. This is an expression of gratitude, of being grateful to a tree who gave shade, who gave protection during the period of meditation that he went through. If the Buddha, the supreme enlightened being, is able to pay homage and respect and express gratitude 1 week standing in silence, shouldn't we understand the significance, the importance of filial piety? And later on in his sermons, the Buddha explained in very great detail, repeatedly, Brahma Vihara is at your parents' feet. Brahma Vihara, that means the ultimate blissfulness, is at your parents' feet. Not at the Buddha's feet, he says. The enlightened Buddha saying, at your parents' feet. And he also explained why he says this. He says, even if you carry your father on your right shoulder and your mother on your left shoulder for 100 years, you would not be able to repay your gratitude to them as a child. So great is his sense of gratitude of parenting. Because of our parents we are born. It is because of them that we are alive. Our mother, in particular, he emphasized, the mother should be paid even more reverence and be more gratefully appreciated than the father. Because the mother has gone through so much of sacrifice and even risked her life. Every time a mother gives birth, she runs the risk of death. We don't understand it, we don't think about it, we don't even know about it, many of us. But every time a mother goes through childbirth, she risks the death. That is the sacrifice, that is the risk she takes to bring you to life. And even if she doesn't face death, the pangs of childbirth, even no man can go through. Only a mother can go through. Only a mother can go through. Only a mother knows what is the pang of childbirth. It is not a simple thing. Some fathers have collapsed in the clinic during witnessing the mother's childbirth. So if he can't even witness it, you think he can go through childbirth? He can't. That is the great feeling of sacrifice the mother goes through. Not only that, After you're born, the mother has to nurse the baby. If the mother was not going to nurse the baby, or the baby is not nursed by the mother at that time, the baby will die. All of us would have died if our mother did not nurse us every 2 hours. That nursing is very vital for our survival. And from her own body she is able to produce immune systems from her breast, from her body. And also in the Buddhist psychic, the feeding, the breastfeeding of a child is described as the mother changing, converting her blood to milk to feed us. That is in the psychic of the mother. And the mother does not think of herself at all. Every 2 hours, literally, she has to get up and breastfeed. You ask a father to just get up every 2 hours, don't have to breastfeed. Just get up every 2 hours for a week. Don't do anything, just get up and just sit down. He will collapse. Or he will go off his head. Or he will become a zombie in the office. Here the mother does it with no complaint, never a complaint. Just does it with love, with attachment, with kindness, with compassion for the child. That is the love the mother has given. That is the sacrifice the mother has made to make us live. Can you repay it? You cannot repay it ever. You can never repay it ever. And the Buddha kept on repeating this over and over again, because unless we understand this, unless we appreciate this, you cannot become a human being. What is a human being? A human being is a being that is being human. If you are not human, then you are like any other animal. So the Buddha insisted that a human being must have these qualities of gratitude. If you don't have this quality of gratitude, of having the love for your parents, then you are not qualified to be a human being. That is the reason why the Buddha emphasized this, and he knew, he understood that this is vital for human nature to develop. Only from the mother's love then you learn to have unconditional love. Just like your mother had unconditional love for you, we learn to have unconditional love for our parents. Whatever they are, however well or however unwell they provide for us, we love them. And we develop this affection for our parents. Now, I had emphasized in my earlier talk about the importance of parents, duty-bound, responsible to make sure that they provide everything for the child. In mathematics, you always have a thing called equation. On one side of the equation, you have some quantity or quality. The other side of the equation must balance. So what is the other side of the equation? The other side of the equation is children must look after the parents when they are in their twilight years. That is very logical. They did everything for us. So when we are grown up and they are aged, they can't feel for themselves, can't find for themselves, they need your help. And some parents don't even need help. They need only your physical presence, your time. Just talk to them. They don't even have that from some children. The needs vary, but whatever it is, we need to provide. And this cannot come naturally or automatically, obviously. If Singapore is passing legislation, if it is so difficult for the younger generation to go for Chin Bing, it is not going to happen automatically. It is not happening automatically. As a community, as a vihara, as an organization, we need to inculcate these things. Parents need to develop this filial piety, this honoring of parents, the joy of taking care of parents, the joy of respecting parents from small at home. Now the challenge, the challenge is, how do you do it? Here again, you do it by practicing and what I refer to as living Buddhism. From small, the child should be able to see his own parents worshipping the grandparents. You can't expect a child to worship you if you yourself don't worship your parents. It's not fair. It is wrong as far as I am concerned. You can't impose certain expectations on your child if you yourself don't do it. So if you have parents, and this is a wonderful blessing, a wonderful opportunity for you to get good merits, go and worship your parents. Look after your parents. Respect them whenever you have a chance. Your child will grow up with this culture, this appreciation of respecting grandparents and parents. Automatically, it will then grow in the child. If we don't have parents, we can still develop these things. And the way is to practice pujas in your house. I know when I've been promoting this in Klang Valley, for example, some parents have come to me, they've said they have done it, and they're so happy that they have followed these practices, and there's a wonderful feeling in the family. And some have explained or given the excuse that they can't do it in the morning and in the night. Because my advocacy, what I advocate, what I try to promote and encourage is every morning and every night. Morning because you start the day with these wonderful thoughts and feelings. And that becomes a kind of a radar for you, that you are properly oriented, positively oriented, and then you go on that direction. Night, before you go to bed, you reflect for a while and you recharge your battery with these feelings before you go to bed. So they have explained to me that in the morning, children sometimes get up early, they have to rush to the bus and this, that and the other. Bathrooms are all, fully occupied, waiting in queue. All kinds of reasons, all kinds of excuses. And Seifu, I think, gets up at 4 o'clock. But they never talk about getting up at 4 o'clock, So whatever the reasons, they say they can't do it in the morning, but they do it at night. For sure they do it at night. Because at night, everybody is at home and they can organize it. And they have been doing it and they have found it very wonderful. In this puja, after offering flowers and chanting and saying, praying your 5 precepts and various other things, doesn't matter whatever, whether you are Theravada or whether you are Mahayana, you can have a puja altar in the house. And it's a beautiful family getting together in a very sublime, calm, vibrating with positive energy, doing the puja. After the puja or before they go to bed, they come and worship the parents. Now in traditional Buddhist countries, actually in China this was practiced, it's not new. It was practiced in China. In traditional Buddhist countries they do it. So I tried to introduce it some years ago in Klang Valley and elsewhere when I first started. And I tried to explain to them, and I also prepared posters, because to help them I prepared posters to show them how it should be done. I even captured the verses to be recited. This is called Mata Pita Vandana, worshipping your mother and father. Incidentally, in the Buddhist language, the Buddhist culture, the Buddhist psyche, we always refer to the mother first. We never say father and mother. We always say mother and then father. In the Western style, we never say mother, father. My mother and father, we never say. We always say my father and mother. See the contrast, see the difference. This is born out of the appreciation of the sacrifices, the sacredness of motherhood, and therefore we always place the mother at a higher pedestal. And even in the Vandana Gatha, we naturally have to worship the mother first. Just in case some people don't understand, how come you worship the mother before the father? These are very, very ingrained values, and there's a lot of meaning and purpose in it. The husband, the father must understand, the mother takes precedence in the family. She is the one who gives all the emotional aspects. The father provides mostly. But emotions, sentiments, spirituality, all comes from the mother. Generally speaking, I'm not going to make it a rule, but generally speaking that is it, and these are the realities. So I had a lot of people saying, oh, this is not possible. How it is possible? This is in Pali. My children don't understand this. How are they going to say? How are they going to recite? Not possible, Dato. This is too difficult what you're talking. So Reverend Sarnankara, who is the chief Sangha of Malaysia in Sentul, he took this challenge. And one of the novitiate programs, before the participants took the robes, he asked for the parents to come forward and for the participants to pay respects to their parents and to recite this Gatha. They recited, they practiced this Gatha, he taught them and he said, recite this Gatha before they take the robes. You know what happened? When the children got in front of the parents and recited this Gatha, they cried. The parents cried tears of joy. Never in their life were they so touched where their child worshipped them. They were tears of joy in front of public, in a public place. That is the power of the Vandana Gatha, Mata Pita Vandana Gatha. The Buddha understood all of this and he encouraged these practices. We need to appreciate and we need to understand and we need to inculcate these practices which are so sublime and so wonderful in terms of bringing about wholesome behavior, wholesome thinking, successful, well-behaved, well-thought of children. And this Gatha is not difficult. I have proven this many times. Now it's being done in many places. And it is a very simple thing because we all learn songs. Santana, the great musician, we know the music, by heart, by listening. We know all our songs not because we studied the songs, because by listening. So if we take an interest, we can do it. So for the benefit of our Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris, I'd like to recite these verses so that later we will produce these posters and we will try and encourage them to do it in the home. We'll encourage them to recite it when the children come to Vihara in the Tangxiang temple. We'll encourage them to do it on prize giving day, on special ceremonies during the kindergarten calendar year. We can on the prize giving day make the children worship the parents. Make the children worship the teacher who is next to the parents. That is our culture. That is what we have inherited. We have lost it. We have to revive it. When I was small, I have to respect the teacher who used to come to my house to teach me Buddhism and Sinhalese. My father made me respect. To him it is normal. For me it was normal. Today it is not normal. But we must make it normal. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. So for the benefit of our Dhammaduttas, the Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris, I'd like to recite this. And I'd like them to know that it's not that difficult. It is very pleasant and very soothing. And after reciting, when you go to bed, you'll find you can sleep very soundly. That is the therapeutic aspect of it. After worshipping, because when you worship your parents, the parents' thoughts are all channeled to the child. May you, my dear son, may you be well and happy, my dear daughter. May you be successful. All the thoughts are crystallized, goes from the body to the fingertips and shields your son and daughter. It is a protection. The father and mother feels calm. Again, endorphins come out. The children are calm. They cannot be restless when they are doing that. They are very calm. And that is having another dose of free therapeutic effect. Free tonic. Free, it doesn't cost you anything. Here we go and buy all kinds of tonic for money, but the Buddha gave free tonic. The verse is Dasamase Ure Katva Poseti Udikaranang Ayudigang Vasasatang Matupatang Namamahang. It means, very simply, for 10 lunar months, dear mother, you carried me in your womb. You nursed me, you nurtured me. You turned your blood to milk to nurse me. May you attain Nibbana, dearest mother. So beautiful. You cannot repay, but you can honor, you can respect, and you can worship. The other stanza is Udikaro Alingitva Tungpitva Piyaputtakang Rajamajjang Supatitang Pitupatang Namamahang. You turn to your father and you worship at his feet. Dearest Father, you have provided me with love and all the comforts, and you have placed me as king when it came to comparing with others. As far as you were concerned, I was king. May you attain Nibbana, dearest Father. So you appreciate all that he has provided, and this is wonderful. Also, I have encouraged, it's an additional thing, in whatever vernacular, whether Chinese or whether English or Malay or whatever it is, you can also express not only in verse, but also in thoughts, through speech. For example, I have coined this, but you can say it in whichever way you like. You can fashion it in whichever way you like and bring whatever sentences. After worshipping the mother, you can say, I have no words to recount the hardship, dearest mother, you underwent on my behalf. From the day I was born, I was dearly worshipped by you, loving mother. When I cried, you lulled me to sleep with deep love and affection. You washed me and you cleansed me so caringly. Oh, dearest mother, may you attain Nibbana. In Chinese, in whatever language, doesn't matter. We make the children express the appreciation. So after reciting the Vandana Gatha for the father, you can say to the father, I have no words to recount the sacrifices, dearest Father, you made for my welfare and well-being. Since my childhood, I deeply worship you, noble Father. Whenever I was upset or hurt, you comforted me so tenderly. You cared for me and you helped me in every way possible. Oh, loving Father, may you attain Nibbana. It's wonderful. So we can encourage our children to do this very simple thing, and we can also from there develop other qualities in terms of filial piety. There are books, I have written a book on filial piety also, story books, for children who are able to read, for example. This is called Matu Posaka. It's a Jataka story. It's a one-page story, but I have made it into a drama, made it with more feeling, with more ideas, with more developments and events, so that children can act this play, act this story, they can visualize this story, they can get inspiration from this story. An elephant who looked after the blind mother. That is the story. If an elephant can feel for the blind mother and take care of the blind mother and not even bother of its own life, its own comfort, what about us human beings? Surely we should be better able to express the joy of looking after our parents, a joy of caring for them, a joy of making them happy, not to make them worried or troubled or tensed about us. Behave ourselves in the proper way. Don't give them anxiety. Do whatever we can, but do it as well as we can, and hope that we will be able to meet the expectations. So these are all inscribed. It can be used in the Sunday Dhamma school, because it can be an extended learning. They can even read this and write their question and answers, they can draw, they can do so many things, either within the classroom or an extended lesson in the home, and you get more time when they come back and produce their work, they discuss, they have, various kinds of discussion. So these are the methods which we can expand the Dhamma class as well. But the inspiration was to show that this is how the Buddha in past lives looked after the parents. And it's a wonderful story and very inspiring story which I would like to promote. It's been well received, a lot of press coverage on this story. Now, some of you might ask, what do we do? My parents are no more. What can I do? As Buddhists, we are in a way very fortunate. We have the teachings of the Buddha that says you can transfer merits to your parents. So even if your parents are not with you, you can every time you do a meritorious deed, every time you come to Tiangxiang and you have a chanting or you have participated in some puja or some activity, for a moment recall to your mind the wonderful things your parents did and wish them that they will be well and happy. Wish them that they will not have a want in their life. Some of us have come through very difficult lives. They have sacrificed. We want them to be successful in everything they do. And we want them to have blissfulness. Those wishes will be carried, will be transferred, because you have acquired merit. And if they are in an uncomfortable or unwholesome realm for various factors and reasons, our merits can relieve them of all of these things. Our constant merits, not just once a year in Chenbeng, constantly, every time you do everything. Like your children worship you, you worship, you recall and transfer all your wonderful thoughts to your parents. As Buddhists, we are very fortunate in that sense we can do. We can also do meritorious deeds, and we can, for example, do some pujas in a physical way, and recall your parents and ascribe it to your parents. I am doing this on behalf of my parents. So that your parents will be also benefiting and remembered for it. In my case, for example, I don't have my parents. I lost my parents long ago. I do it all the time. And I thought that was not even enough. What I am doing is not enough. So I decided, one Vesak day, I went to Sri Lanka, near my wife's village, and an elderly monks, because this was Vesak, we gave dana and all. He was literally in tears because he was 94 years old, and his hope was he wants to pass away. Before he passes away, he wants to see a vihara. They don't have a shrine room. It's just a small bodhi tree and very, very simple. He said, I want to see this vihara. I have tried for so many decades, but people come, people go, nobody has done anything. I've tried, I can't do. So my wife came and asked me, they know the reverend from small. Because my wife asked me, I knew she wants me to do it, otherwise she won't ask me. And because I know my wife well enough, I said, of course, otherwise she will not even come and ask me. So that is the puja I made in memory of my parents. I built a nice shrine room, and I am feeling wonderful since that day. It was nothing for me, but I hope it will be something for my parents. Even if they are not there, and their memory will be there forever and ever. And this is one of the greatest blessings you can give. Giving an opportunity for people to come and pray in the comfort of a shrine room with the Buddha image in front. So these are practices that we need to inculcate. You don't have to do all the time big things. Even small things can mean a lot. And by living the Dhamma, we would be able to spread the Dhamma. That's the only way to spread the Dhamma. Sifu has been able to do such wonderful work. And in the process, automatically people are touched by the Dhamma. Automatic. And more people will come to give a helping hand. So what we are doing is very small compared to what Sifu is doing. But every time we come forward, every time we come and give a shoulder, he feels he can do more. He feels he has not done enough. That is the secret of his success. And that is the secret of the value that you can make out of your life. Little contributions. It doesn't have to be from A to Z. Small things. But these things add up and make a big story. Sukhi hotu Dhammaputras and Dhammaputris. I wish and hope and pray that whatever I have said makes meaning. I'm sure you would benefit from it if you follow it. Others have done it and they have benefited. Sukhi hotu.